Hey everyone, it's Kat.
And Amber.
And we are
Wandering Suit Black Lesbian Expats in the house, y'all.
In his house of Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. And we come to you today with more information. I think that's what we've been doing a lot lately, right? There's not much to do during COVID, right? And we're staying out of group places as much as possible. So we're sharing as much information as we can during this time frame before we depart this beautiful city that we have grown to love. And
country.
The whole country. Oh, yeah. We love Vietnam. Yeah. Totally love it. But anyway, today we're going to talk about what's holding you back from moving abroad. So a few weeks ago, I posted this question, which is basically what's holding you back from moving abroad in a few of the travel groups that I manage. And I got some great feedback, some great concerns. And we thought we would take this moment to address them with the information that we have that will hopefully help you if one of these is your possible issue, if that's the right word, issue. Is that it?
Yeah, or concern.
Concern.
They're likely a concern that if you've thought about moving, you've probably thought about it as well.
Right. So the main one we had was money and employment. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was like every other post was, I ain't got no job over there. Right. How am I gonna pay my bills over there? What you gonna do for me? And this honestly is the easiest of the issues to resolve in my eyes. Mm-hmm. Mainly because it's the most clear cut. You have options. You just got to figure out which one of those options is going to work for you. Sure. The first one is you can find a U.S. employer that will allow you to either work remotely or to work in their office in another country. That's pretty much the first go-to if you are a person who can't transfer your skills to another country. Licensing and things of that nature, that would probably be your best bet.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and those companies do exist. Those jobs do exist.
Totally.
And just like you would be applying for a job in the States, you have to go through the application process. And if you're really serious about it, then that interview that you may have to go to in whatever country or then it's worth it. But more than likely, it's going to be like a virtual interview anyway. Just to apply for the job, you probably won't even have to fly there in person. So, yeah, why not?
Right. And you can also, with that in mind, you can apply to companies who do hire U.S. Employees, and then they bring you over as well. So, again, you can find a big company, apply for a job, move.
Yeah.
Second is you can start your own business and be a digital nomad, which is what we did. We had a buffer, a time frame where we got our stuff together, and we transitioned. And we both did our own thing. Amber owns her own editing company. We set that up like a year before we left.
Right.
And we started, she started doing what she needed to do. Got the website built. We started putting fillers out there. And she started doing what she do. And she's been highly successful at it. I have a travel company. But anybody really traveling right now except to Mexico and other places like that. But hey, it was great when it was booming and everybody was traveling. And so, you do that. And I write. And I do our blog, and I do other things. So we're busy.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so many remote jobs that you don't even know about until you go and you're really looking for them. Like you don't even know they exist. Right. So the best thing is to, as opposed to saying, "Oh no, there's nothing I could do," like go look because there's probably something you could do.
Right. Yeah. And it'll be contract work. You could definitely do contract work as a digital nomad. And that's actually good work, good solid work. It'll at least give you a time frame of how long this job is going to last. If it's 6 months, it's 3 months, it's a year. A lot of times they renew the contract, or you can find another contract in that time frame with a different company, with the same company. Do good work, more likely your contract will be extended. And last, you can start your own business in a new country. Hey, it happens. A lot of people come to America and start a business. You can go to other countries and start a business. Go to our Move To series, our playlist, and we list all the rules and regulations for starting a new business in a country, or at least point you in the right direction. If you can own a business in that country, it's always an option.
Depends on the country, obviously. But, I mean, in the countries we've been in the last year or so, we've met pretty much someone in each of those countries, more than one person, who is from somewhere else who has a business there. And Yeah, I mean, a lot of times we've usually met people like in restaurants that own like food businesses. But yeah, and they love it. They're happy. They're settled. So if that's your niche and that's your thing, then yeah, just do the research, watch our videos.
Right. Import-export companies are very popular here. We're talking brick and mortar companies when we say move to a different country. We're not talking online. You could do that in the U.S. and still move abroad. We're actually talking about a brick and mortar building. So yeah, again, to me, that's the easiest of your obstacles. To me.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the skill set today that's going to allow you to follow one of those steps, then you got time to get it together.
That's true.
Which is what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we planned. We jumped, but we planned a little bit when we jumped. So, and then the other thing we got was, or one of the other things we got was language barrier and culture. That never really was an issue for me either. I thought, well, I won't speak the language. I know at my age I'm not going to learn the language relatively easily, so I'm just going to go over there and do the best I can. I'm looking for the culture, so to me that wasn't even an issue. That was something I wanted. So for language, I slow blinked my way through a lot of situations and smiled.
I mean, I admit I was worried about. I think I heard that certain places don't have anything in English and that type of thing. And I had heard that before we got there. And I admit to being worried. So that's normal, I think, to think, what are we going to do when we get there? Oh my gosh. But it wasn't anything close to the things I had fears about. Nothing. I was worried about it way more than I should have been. Yes, it will make it harder for you to communicate. Yes, you won't make friends everywhere you go in every store because you're able to talk to people like you do in the United States. No, that won't happen. But it doesn't mean that you can't meet people, and it doesn't. It just means that you have to go into the places that are English. That if that's what you want to do, if you want to go out and be in spaces where you can communicate with people, then you just have to find those.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't know. Like I said, it just wasn't an issue. I don't speak any of the languages. Amber at least learns the keywords. Hello, goodbye, thank you. I learned the money. So she relies on me for that. I rely on her to get us, to say thank you, goodbye, and figure stuff out. And that's worked out for us. We've tag team stuff. She will just pick up stuff. She don't look at the price or nothing. I'm like, hey, way too much. I've already converted it. It's way too much. So we've done that. And it's worked out for us. I don't even think we've realized it till right now when I was just saying it, that she gets the language, I get the money. And in between all that, we work it out. We have, there's been days I've been frustrated with the language barrier. But it's my issue. It's not their issue. I'm in their country, and I don't know the language. Right. So I shouldn't expect them to know English. And if you expect them to know English, then you're going to have a problem. Your expectations are not going to be met. So let that go.
Right. Can't walk around with your privilege.
You can't. It's not going to happen. If you meet somebody who speaks English pretty well, thank them profusely and work with them. Have that be your connection to the rest of the world. In our apartments, we've always had a manager who spoke English decently. And so if we had any issues, we'd always take our phone and go to the manager and say, can you translate for us what we're trying to convey? But yeah, we've worked it out.
Yeah, there's just too many apps to help
Google
with these
Translate.
Things, to let it be a barrier to actually moving somewhere. It's just not that much of an issue. Download
all the free and the paid apps that teach you basic languages, Duolingo and things of that nature, and you should be okay.
Yeah.
Google Translate, you gotta have Google Translate. You gotta have it. So
yeah,
definitely. That has saved us quite a bit. And they have a voice attachment on that too, so it'll take your English if you speak it and translate it into whatever language. Use it. All right, and the next one we had was housing. Easy barrier to me. Housing is everywhere. It's actually easy to get in every country that we've been to. We've had no issues. You just have to be. Our issue was being selective, if that makes any sense. But just finding a home, no.
Yeah.
The only caveat to this is cash is king. Credit means absolutely nothing. So if you have no cash, you have no housing. You have to have the first and last month if that's what they require. Sometimes there's a fee, a finder's fee, if you use an agency or a person to get the apartment or the home. But other than that, yeah.
I do think, as far as housing goes, she's right. It's easy. I think leaving your housing that you've had in the States and the things that you've had may be an issue for some people. And it is a real thing. Like, we actually had to get a storage, a small one.
Right.
But we did have to get a storage for some of the things that we know we're going to keep. But it is going to require paring down.
Right.
I mean, obviously it depends on where you move. If you move closer and you can ship your things. But no matter where you move, you're going to have to pare down.
Right.
Like, totally. And that can be hard. That can be hard for people, I think. But it's doable. Probably everyone has done it at some point. If you've moved, you've had to throw stuff away. It's just going to be like a major, like that, but on the like umpteenth level if you're moving out of the States. But it is going to require that, letting stuff go.
Yeah, we went from a 3-bedroom house full of stuff to a storage room that's the size of a small kid's closet.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's it. And when we go back to the States next year, we're going to get rid of that storage because it's time. And the things we have in there, we don't need to put them in that storage facility. It's money. It's a waste of money. But it was part of our budget, and so we're fine with it. But we're not going to do it for 2 years. So next year, we'll go in, we'll reevaluate, look at everything, place it in different directions, and go from there. So, yeah.
But if you are one of those people that aren't sure about letting your stuff go and you're letting that like kind of make you hesitate about moving, then just do like we did and get some kind of a storage to keep some of the stuff you just can't part with. And then if you have to reevaluate, like we're going to do after a year or whatever, then you reevaluate and decide how much of that you really need. But don't let that stop you.
No, do not let it stop you. You'll realize quite quickly. I did that it's just material stuff. You can always get most of that back. A couch, you can get another couch. Even I loved my couch. When I tell you, I miss my couch.
I miss your couch.
It was a really good couch. But yeah, such is life. Anyway, so the next one was leaving family and elderly parents. This wasn't as much of an issue for me. It may be for you, maybe for Amber, and I'm definitely going to let her speak on it because I don't have any kids, not any birth kids. So realistically, my brothers are grown. My mother, she is elderly, and I was worried about her. But, I'm one of those people that believe you only live once, as far as we know. And so you have to live your dreams and your aspirations and things of that nature. And I'm not going to let anything hold me back as much, except for myself, right? So when Amber and I met, that was one of the things I told her. I want to move overseas. I want to live abroad. And that was one of my main goals. And had she not been comfortable with that, I don't know where we would have went with our relationship, being brutally honest. Because it was just one of those things. So you got to figure out if this is one of those life things for you or not. And if it's not, then you can slow travel. Where you can just go overseas for 3 months and come back home. Mm-hmm. That may be a better option for you if you're worried about your elderly parents and things like that. But again, for me, it was I wanted to immerse myself. And I actually think Amber does a better immersion job than I do. I'm just happy to be here. Amber likes to get out in the community and people and mingle and things like that. And I'm like, ooh, another day out? I like my couch, even the one that's not mine here. But
the couch ain't good enough for me.
It really isn't. But even with all that being said, I communicate with my mother more since we moved abroad. I talk to her at least once a day. 15, 20, 30-minute calls. I don't know what we talk about. We've never talked this much in my entire life. But we talk every day. And I check on her. I make sure that she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. I have other family members that check on her. And she's living by herself in a city by herself. She's not surrounded by family. But my mother is the type of person who gathers friends. So I'm not too worried about her. She is a friend magnet. If anything were to happen, I know that she's going to be taken care of. So that does help. She's still functioning right now. She still can move. And we've made an agreement that she can't ever live with me, and I can't ever live with her. And
that was before we even left. So
exactly. So we would never be in the same household together. So we just don't blend like that. Love her to death, though, in her own space, and I'm in my own space. So when she gets to the point where she can't manage, then we'll talk. But it probably, again, won't be with me. That's what we say today.
Yeah, and the same goes true. The same is for those of you who have, fur babies. Same difference. Everyone's not comfortable with taking their pet with them wherever they're going to go, which makes sense. And everyone is not comfortable with leaving their pet. So I think, we all have ties and connections, and there's nothing wrong with, thinking about that and letting that be part of like the factor of when and how you move. I don't think it should be a matter of if you do, but when and how, really. Because if you move to a different state, then you would still be away from certain people and you would still lose certain support networks. But that we don't necessarily let that stop us, especially if we get like this amazing job or, we're going to move for that. So think of this the same way. Like, this is an amazing opportunity. Right. And are you going to turn it down when you could, freak it the way you need to freak it to still do it and make everything else work? So I think you should look at it that way. I know for me, certainly my daughter going to college was way more traumatizing to me than me having to leave the States and her there. So honestly, if you've been through that and you've done that, then to me, you can do it. You can do anything. So I'm just going to put that out there for parents and who think about having to maybe leave some of their, leave children or whatever the case may be.
Young adults. Or even kids.
Right. But ideally, all of you can go together and make this, a different type of life. Just as you'd be doing the same thing in the States, it's just a different type of living in a different country. And hopefully a better experience, an educational experience for your kids. So I think we should look at it that way, like all the positives and all the benefits that we can have as a family together if we travel together. So hopefully that isn't really an issue to keep you from leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
And with elderly parents, or with family in general, we always recommend that you have an emergency fund that can get you back home. We preach this, we practice this, that you have to have the money for your flights to get back home at the drop of a dime. And it's not going to be the cheap flight. It's going to be the overpriced flight that is the last minute flight. But you got to keep that money to the side so that you will have that, at least that peace of mind, to know that if something were to happen, I can go home tomorrow, 2 days from now, whatever. But you can get back home without it being a burden and a hard, just being hard, a hardship on you and your finances and living abroad and things like that. So
true.
Yeah, that'd be the only thing I would say, and adding to what Amber said, which I really get. I get what you're saying about hopefully you go on an adventure together. We have the boy with us, the boy in the room. He's grown so much. I don't think he realizes it. I do in a weird way, right? Because to me, he's still this 10-year-old kid that started this journey with us. 10 or 11. Well, he'll be 13 soon, right?
Yeah.
And he went to the mall yesterday by himself in a Grab. I did not want it to happen.
Which his sister balked at, but when she found out. But yes,
I didn't want it to happen. She was down for it. I was not ready, y'all. I wasn't ready, but I wouldn't have done it in the States.
That's true.
Would not have done it in the States.
Not by himself.
No,
that's true.
So here we were like, Amber showed him how to do everything. I'm sitting on the couch avoiding the situation as best as possible. And I said, why? Why are we doing this? And he went, did what he wanted to do at the mall, which was to get something to eat.
Basically.
And he came back. No issues. I'm over here freaking out. Seriously. Growth, too.
Yeah, it's growth. It's all about growth. That's right.
For your kids.
That's right.
Think of all the adventures you're going to have. Whew. The last one, being a card-carrying member of the LGBTQI family.
That might make you a little,
You know,
worry, maybe.
Hey, we're Americans. We just got some rights, in my lifetime. So I'm not going to go and pretend that there's a gay Mecca out there. There's a gay utopia. And that we have it so great in America. And so I'm going to be losing things by going other places. You're not. Some countries are way better than us. Some countries are way worse than us. You need to do your research and figure out what you can live with. It's just that simple. We've been in countries where LGBTQI were persecuted, where it was not considered safe. And we've been in countries where they don't care. Happy. Here's a parade. Here's a party. Here are the laws and regulations. What I recommend is that you do your research. If you've decided on a country, you need to do firsthand research. And when I say that, I mean blogs, articles, YouTube channels for that country, and then read the laws and regulations. All of those together are going to give you a better view of what actually occurs and how life is being lived there. Don't just take one piece of that pie and run with it. You need all of that information to make that decision for you and your safety and your health in a country that may not be as open and welcoming as you need it to be. But that may not be a huge factor for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably, it may be more of an issue if you are thinking about dating and traveling. Like if that's that is your, what you're going to be looking at. And then obviously that's something to think about. You're going to want to go somewhere probably where you can actually meet people and not have to worry about getting arrested.
Right.
Because you want to meet, make a partner, find a partner. So, if that's the case, then yes, you should think seriously about where you're going, do your research, go somewhere where it's this gay friendly for sure. But like she said, there is no Mecca out here for us. We make our way wherever we are as best we can. So yeah, you just, so you're certainly not going to let that stop you. Just like you don't let it stop you from living in the States. You're not going to let it stop you from living anywhere else.
And I keep harping back to that. You have to remember that the U.S. has just established rules and regulations in regards to being gay. Like we just got gay marriage.
Yeah.
I mean, what's it been 10 years? Maybe?
Maybe a little more than that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's nothing. It's a blink.
Yeah.
So we just got some laws about you can't be discriminated against at work. Just got these things. So don't think that America's a Mecca and that you've been living great. You haven't. There are countries that are way ahead of us. Way ahead of us. So find one of those.
Yeah.
America is not the apple pie that everybody thinks it is, baby. It really isn't. Especially when you consider peach pie is really good in other countries. And the last thing that a few people brought up, but not as many as I thought, being black in another country. It's been interesting, and I'm going to say, like we said, everything else. Do your research. Yeah. Find out what the laws are. Find out what this racism is. Read some recent articles. Read some old articles. Find some blogs. Find some people who are living in that country.
Watch some YouTube videos of people in the country you're interested in.
Really watch.
Yeah.
Read between the lines. Get the coded messages that are being sent. There's racism everywhere. There is no black utopia. There is no gay utopia. But there definitely is not a black utopia. You can go in the closet, but you cannot closet this skin color. So you have to do your research in that regard. But we haven't had any issues. None that I can tell. I don't speak the language, so I don't know what they said about me.
None that bar us from doing what we need to do in life. So yeah.
And we've found success overseas. I think we found freedom and we found success. Again, it may be a language issue. I don't know what they said about me. I don't care. Just like I didn't care in the States. I just knew what they said in the States. Here, I don't care at all.
True.
It's even less of a factor for me. And I don't think we've even looked at a country realistically and said, well, do you think we're going to have some racist moments over there when we were moving, deciding our move?
Yeah, no, no. I mean, and actually, me, I'm definitely a history buff, and I was particularly interested in going to the countries we were going to and seeing like the Black presence in those countries, especially like in ancient times and things like that. So I was thinking about that. I was excited. I mean, I knew that we were going to be a minority, obviously, in those places now, but I'm like, but we've been everywhere. Yeah, we've been everywhere. I'm like, I can't wait to see it in person. I can't wait to see,
our cousins. Yeah. And our cousins are everywhere, y'all. We are. I mean, you see us in Cambodia a lot. I don't know what people were thinking there, but when I tell you I saw my cousins all over the place, they're my short cousins, but they was my cousins. My Creole cousins, but they was definitely there.
And then your light skinned?
Yeah, my light skinned Creole cousins. It was in Cambodia. I mean, a couple people I really looked at and was like, yeah, that looked like my cousin so and so, like dead ass. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so
and also say that we are together, obviously most of the time, moving around, right. And obviously there's safety in numbers, but even when we're by ourselves, like when I've been out by myself, I haven't felt any less safe or any more targeted or anything like that. So it's definitely not that. Like if you think, oh well, y'all are a family and so you don't have any issues. No, even by ourselves, we don't get, any type of harassment or anything like that. That just hasn't happened.
No, we haven't been robbed. We haven't had any issues like that. So safety has never been too much of a question. We don't do stupid things. Right. Just like I've been doing stupid things in the States, I'm not going to do stupid things here. I'm not going to be out at 1 o'clock in the morning with a pocket full of money with the sign that says rob me. I'm not walking down any back alleys. Right. That's just being a Black female. Yeah. I wouldn't do any of those things. So, all of the hardships or the issues for concerns, hopefully we've addressed those for you in this video. If there's some more, definitely throw them my way. We like to give our 2 cents as much as we can based on our experiences on our travels. We also have an article coming out, the best countries for Black LGBTQI to relocate to. So take a look at that at our blog at www.wanderingsoup.com. Got a whole bunch of old articles there, or whole blogs rather, dealing with everything from moving, packing, issues, everything.
Everything you need.
Everything.
Go on over there.
If you don't want to read, head on over to our channel. Subscribe, like, share, all those things. We are Wandering Soup. I am Kat.
And Amber.
Thank y'all. Peace and love. See you in the next video. There she go.